What is Downtown Sports? My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, I'm not going to be doing too many game review videos, but I figure when the game is interesting enough, or when I actually have something to say about it, rather than just recapping who scores, I will make one of these videos. Before we start talking about the game, most of the time my Twitter account is just me shitposting, but every once in a while I do fire off a tweet that I think is pretty funny anyway. Before Nazem Kadri left for Colorado, he handed Justin Holl the keys to the apartment inside Connor McDavid's head, and he's living rent-free up there, man. There was a power play where McDavid was carrying the puck, and he carried it over the Maple Leafs' blue line and was kind of skating around the net with it, and Justin Holl just boxed him out and absolutely just stapled him to the boards. Justin Holl, like I said in my last video, has been very, very impressive for the Toronto Maple Leafs so far this season through 9 games. Now, don't jump on me for saying this, but the Toronto Maple Leafs were not very good defensively tonight, and they were not very good on the penalty kill. Don't worry, I will explain myself. There is a but to that. But this is Leon Draisaitl's second goal of the game, and this is on the power play for the Edmonton Oilers. And you're going to see 4 Toronto Maple Leafs just absolutely puck watching here. No one has any of the 2 Oilers that are just basically right on top of Frederik Andersen in this play, and the Edmonton Oilers are able to score to tie this game at 2. Not exactly ideal. If you were to isolate this penalty kill and just put it into a vacuum, not very effective, but then again, they are going up against Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, so maybe there's only so much that they can do, and those players just make your penalty kill look bad. But at the same time, I would like it to be better. But again, in the context of this game, I'm not too upset about the poor penalty killing and poor defensive plays. This was the 3-3 Zach Kassian tying goal. And again, you just can't let him get behind everyone here and just have such easy access to Frederik Andersen on this play. Poor defensive zone coverage by the Toronto Maple Leafs here. But again, in the context of this game, I'm not too upset about it. And I'm not upset because I don't think the defense was an option in this game for either team. The refs made it clear that simply breathing on another player in this game was a penalty, so being hard on your man in the defensive zone I don't think would have been helpful in this game. If anything, it would have just put you in bigger penalty trouble. I'm not going to go back and look at every single penalty that the Toronto Maple Leafs took, but I can name 2 off the top of my head that were just completely unnecessary, so they weren't helping themselves out too much. There was the interference call on Kerfoot behind the play. You don't need to take that penalty. And then there was the lazy stick where Nylander got tangled up with Ethan Bear, I believe. You got to manage your stick better, Willie. 22 out of the 60 minutes in this game were spent on the power play between both teams. This is an outlier for both teams. Both teams aren't going to see another game like this in the regular season, and I don't know if the Oilers are going to make the playoffs, but the Leafs are definitely not going to see a game like this in the postseason. There's just not going to be 11 power plays between both teams most nights. There was so much stopping and starting and stopping and starting in this game because of all the penalties that were called. There were so many puck battles along the boards. The puck was cycled between the half boards and the point for almost half this game. It was late enough here on the East Coast. I was having a hard time staying awake watching this game. Like I said, such an outlier for both teams that I don't care. The Maple Leafs got 2 points in this game. Burn the game tape footage of it. You're not going to see another one like it this season. You're going to see the deserve to win-o-meter is greatly in favor of the Edmonton Oilers in this game, but let's take a look at something. If you take a look at the expected goals in all situations here, it's going to look like the Edmonton Oilers absolutely killed the Toronto Maple Leafs, and while I might agree that the Oilers were slightly the better team in this game, it was a lot closer. Remember, 22 out of the 60 minutes in this game was spent on the power play combined between each of these teams. But if you look at the expected goals 5-on-5, it's a much closer affair. I will agree that the Oilers have the better power play. It's Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and they're just basically going Harlem Globetrotter mode. The other 3 skaters for the Oilers don't really exist on the power play. When you do pass it to Tyson Barrie on the power play, we all know about that in Toronto. Not very many good things happen. If you spend the majority of the game on the penalty kill against the Edmonton Oilers, you will more than likely lose that game. But unfortunate for the Oilers, they don't call as many power plays in the playoffs, and they might not have to worry about that anyway because 3-6-0 already to start the season through 9 games for them. They might not even make the playoffs. I've said that a couple of times in this video, but I just think it's worth pointing out. Bringing it back to this quote from Justin Holl here from James Myrtle, I don't think we've touched how good we can be. I was talking to a friend while watching tonight's Leafs-Oilers game, and he pointed out just how versatile this Leafs team has been this season. They've been able to win games playing different styles. And maybe they haven't perfected their style of game yet, or the style of game that they would like to play most nights, but I think that this Leafs team is learning that they can't always necessarily play the way that they want to, and they have to be able to change things up on the fly in order to adjust to what the opponent is doing to you. The Blue Jackets, all they did in the play-in round was clog up the middle, and it completely dismantled the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's just like, no, guys, you gotta learn how to win a couple of different ways. The game against the Jets, where the Maple Leafs absolutely dismantled them and dominated them, they were able to play their game. They were able to play a heavy East-West offensive game, and that worked because the Jets aren't known for their defense. They're a high-flying offensive team. In the two games against the Calgary Flames, the Flames are a much better defensive team than the Jets. The Maple Leafs played a much more north-south style of game, and they beat the Flames using their speed. And they're doing that having won 6 one-goal games. The Maple Leafs are comfortable, or they are getting more comfortable playing in games that are close in the late going, whether they have the lead or it's tied or they're losing. I don't feel like the game is over, even if they're playing sloppy in the third period. So this Justin Holl quote is exactly spot on. The only game this year where the Maple Leafs have been able to play a heavy East-West offensive style of game has come against the Winnipeg Jets, and they absolutely kicked them up and down the ice. If not for Connor Hellebuyck, the Maple Leafs would have blew them out of the water in that game. Learning how to be versatile and winning games in different ways, being comfortable when you're down a goal, tied, or up just one, is something that the Maple Leafs desperately need to learn, and it's something that they've been showing so far this season. And look, I'm not going to take away anything from the Montreal Canadiens. They've been one of the best teams in the NHL so far to start this year by the standings, by the advanced stats, and just by watching the games. They've been absolutely dominant. I just don't think that they're going to be able to stand up to the new look, new mindset Toronto Maple Leafs. And if you want to give credit to Kyle Dubas for bringing in the personnel, if you want to give credit to Sheldon Keefe for coaching the bunch, or if you want to give credit to the players because they're the actual ones on the ice, I don't really care. All I know is that this team, this season so far, has been a hell of a lot of fun watching and cheering for and analyzing and talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. So on that note, make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more because more is always on the way. And guys, remember, the Maple Leafs are just scratching the surface on how good they are going to be this year.